20 million years ago, two great plates of the Earth collided. Beneath what is now Anatolia, land buckled and burned. Volcanoes tore open the sky. Rivers carved valleys into stone. Salt lakes shimmered where seas once stood. Out of this violence, something rare began to form. A land of contradiction, of silence and steam, of stone shaped like memory. A place where geology didn't just build the land, it became the story. Today, that land is called Turkey. It stretches from alpine mountains to ancient desert, from glowing terraces to valleys that disappear in mist. Here the earth doesn't rest. It rises, cracks, breathes, and even now, after millions of years, it keeps creating wonder. In the heart of Anatolia, as morning breaks over the plains, stone pillars stretch toward the sky. Thin, tall, and surreal, this is Cappadocia, a place where volcanoes spoke first and wind answered. Long ago, ash fell from the sky and covered the earth. It hardened into soft stone, thick and pale, then came the rain. Then came time, and the land began to shift. The result doesn't seem real. Cone-shaped towers, valleys like melted wax. Cliffs that ripple like fabric. They call them fairy chimneys, but their beauty is more ancient than any story. As the sun rises, balloons drift overhead, silent, painted with light. Their shadows glide across cave dwellings carved thousands of years ago. Whole cities lie underground here, dug deep into the soft rock to escape invaders, summer heat, or simply time. Below the vineyards and pigeon houses, tunnels connect churches, kitchens, graves. Some reach 18 levels down. There are no signs, no fences, just a staircase vanishing into the past, and then the earth changes again. West of Cappadocia, the land gleams white. A shining slope of stone curls over the hilltop like frozen water. This is Pamukkale, Cotton Castle, but it's not snow and it's not ice. It's stone made by water. Thermal springs bubble up from deep underground, rich in calcium and heat. As the water spills over the hillside, it cools, and the minerals crystallize. They leave behind travertine, layer by layer, century after century, until the hill gleams white under the sun. Pools settle into perfect shelves. Water so clear it reflects the sky. People once bathed here for healing. Today they still do, walking barefoot across the terraces, steam curling around them like breath. Above the terraces lie ruins, the ancient city of Hierapolis, a Roman spa town built on sacred ground. Temples, theaters, tombs, all now sit in the quiet among flowers and wind. But even sacred ground isn't still forever. Far to the east, where the land begins to rise again, a mountain stands like a monument built by time itself. Mount Nemrut doesn't roar, it waits. At its summit, massive stone heads lie scattered, gods, eagles, lions, a king who placed himself among them. Antiochus I, ruler of the ancient kingdom of Commagene, built his throne above the clouds. He wanted to be remembered, and he was. At dawn, the statues face the sun, shadows stretch over gravel and ruin. The wind never stops, and in the silence, it's hard to tell where myth ends and mountain begins. This is not a place built for comfort. It's built for awe, for ambition carved in stone, for a sky so vast it feels like a roof that never quite holds. And then, just when the land seems dry and done, it breaks open. In Mersin province, the forest floor vanishes beneath your feet. Two massive holes open in the limestone, one lush and green, the other dark and endless. They call them Senet v'Sehenum, heaven and hell. Heaven is a sinkhole cloaked in vines with stairs that lead into the earth. Light still reaches the floor, and an old chapel hides in the shade. Birds call from the cliff walls. It feels forgotten, but alive. Hell is different. It's deeper, steeper. No one walks to the bottom. It drops too far, too fast. The edges lean inward like jaws. The name fits. Scientists say they were formed by the collapse of underground caves. Locals say something else. That a giant monster was trapped here by the gods, that its fire still flickers below. And sometimes, just down the coast, it does. On the rocky slopes near Olympos, the earth burns. Flames shoot from cracks in the ground day and night, without pause or fuel. They call it Yanartash, the chimera. The flames are small but endless. Methane leaks from deep within the rock, finding fire where there should be none. For over 2,000 years, the mountain has never gone dark. In ancient times, sailors used it as a beacon. Today, travelers hike the path by moonlight. No torches needed, only curiosity, only quiet. And in that glow, the rock seems alive, yet the fire doesn't claim the land. The water does. Northwest of the coast, nestled between mountains, a canyon carves itself into the stone. Saklikent Gorge, the hidden city. You enter barefoot through icy water. The walls rise high on either side, sheer limestone cliffs carved by the Karasai River. Some parts are so narrow the sky disappears. Others widen just enough to make you feel small. It isn't a tourist trail, it's a fracture, a wound in the earth where rivers ran and kept running. Even now, after millions of years, it still deepens with every storm. You don't walk it, you submit to it. Back inland, the water changes again, but this time it doesn't flow, it shines. Wind moves without resistance. The ground cracks, and the sky reflects itself below. This is Lake Tuz, the salt lake. In summer, it dries into a mirror. Miles of white stretch in every direction, so still they seem unreal. You can walk for hours without seeing another soul, only your own reflection following behind. The salt is thick, coarse, alive with color. Some days it turns pink, stained by microscopic algae glowing in the heat. Other days it shines silver, always changing, never permanent. Birds drift overhead. In spring, flamingos gather here in the thousands. feeding in shallow waters that vanish by August. They come because the lake doesn't belong to people. It belongs to sky, to wind, to silence. And in that silence, the story turns again. To the southwest, the ground falls suddenly. A river runs between vertical cliffs, hidden from the outside world. This is Ihlara Valley, a green scar across volcanic rock. For miles, the Melendez River curls through its heart, cooling the air, feeding the trees, echoing off the stone. Above, dozens of churches are carved into the cliffs, their walls painted with fading saints, their silence deeper than prayer. People fled here in times of danger. Monks made it home. Today, only the river remembers, and the valley listens. You feel it in the way the trees lean, in the way your footsteps soften. This place wasn't made for noise. It was made for retreat. And far to the west, something else stirs, something black and young. In Manisa province, the hills turn sharp. The ground grows dark, and cones rise where trees should be. This is the Kula Volcanic Geopark, a field of extinct volcanoes, some only a few thousand years old. The lava fields stretch like veins across the landscape, basalt columns split in geometric shapes. Craters rest in the middle of nowhere, as if someone pressed their thumb into the earth and left it. This is Turkey's youngest volcanic region, but it feels ancient. Locals once called it the land of the burned. But even here, vineyards now thrive. Life returns again and again to where fire once ruled. And if you follow the land further, not upward, but backward, you reach something even more impossible. On a hilltop near Şanlıurfa, stones stand in perfect circles. Each one carved, each one placed. No walls, no graves, just intention. This is Göbekli Tepe, built over 11,000 years ago. Before cities, before metal, before farming, before history as we know it. Massive stone pillars shaped by hands that left no name rise from the dust, carved with foxes, birds, snakes, symbols no one fully understands. They form temples with no roofs, aligned to the stars, buried and reburied by the people who made them. Some call it the first temple. Others say it's proof that the story of humanity began long before we thought. But standing there, between the stones, under the same sky they watched, all you can really do is feel the weight of time pressing gently in. Not all beauty rises. Some of it falls, quietly, steadily, into the ground. In Antalya, the land softens into forest. Trees bend low over rivers that vanish underground and reappear as something else. Duden waterfalls drop straight from a cliff's edge where the city ends and the earth opens. Water plunges into the sea below, roaring in defiance of its own height. A few miles inland, Kurshunlu hides in the trees, smaller, greener, slower. The falls here don't shout, they whisper. Water spills over moss-covered rocks into quiet pools, and light drifts down through the canopy like smoke. It's not a place for arrival. It's a place to stay a while. You feel it in the stillness. In the sound of dripping water, in the weight of green. But while water flows gently here, in other parts of Turkey, the ground itself does not sleep. This land sits on one of the most powerful fault lines in the world. The Anatolian plate grinds against Eurasia, pulled and pressed between continents. Earthquakes are not rare. They are part of the breath of this country. In eastern Anatolia, the fault line cuts across villages and valleys. Mountains don't just rise, they shear. Plates don't just move, they fight. It's a tension that shapes everything, even silence. Yet even here people built, and not just above, below. Beneath Cappadocia's strange terrain lies a world dug in secret. Underground cities, not ruins, but entire lives carved into volcanic rock. Kaymaklı, Derinkuyu, Özkonak, each one linked by tunnels so narrow you can barely turn around, each one deeper than it seems possible to imagine. These were not bunkers. They were homes, schools, wineries, stables, chapels. Built to hold thousands, protected from war, wind, or the slow weight of history. They go down for levels. some for miles, and in their depths, the air still holds a chill that feels older than stone. The soft, tough rock made it possible. The need made it necessary. The patience made it real. And above these forgotten chambers, the land rolls on, pretending it has no secrets. But the land here always holds something back. Wind and fire have had their say, so has water. But beneath it all, beneath every cracked cliff and glowing valley, it is earth that speaks loudest. Not in words, in shape, in memory, in silence. In the Far East, the landscape changes again. It stops folding. It starts climbing. Mountains rise like waves that never broke. Snow clings to the peaks long into summer. And somewhere between sky and stone, the myth returns, Mount Ararat. The highest peak in Turkey, the one said to hold a story older than language. This is where, some believe, Noah's Ark came to rest, after the flood, after the silence, after everything had been washed away. You don't need to believe the story to feel its weight. Ararat stands alone, massive, white-tipped, patient. A stratovolcano dormant for thousands of years, but not dead, just waiting. Clouds curl around its summit, villages sleep in its shadow, and no road ever really leads all the way up. At its base, another wonder hides in plain sight, Lake Van. The largest lake in Turkey, a closed basin with no river out. Formed by volcanic eruption, fed by mountain streams, held still by salt. The water is alkaline, rich with sodium carbonate, and so buoyant you can float without effort. Locals speak of islands that disappear. Rocks that hum, civilizations that built and sank and built again. In the middle of the lake, Akdamar Island rises like a stone heart, crowned by an Armenian church 1,000 years old, carved with stories of saints and beasts. The stone glows pink at sunset, the water stays impossibly blue. But not all ancient places sit above ground. In the Thrace region of northwestern Turkey, the earth reveals its history more slowly. Here, old lava fields lie buried beneath farmland. Caves wind through basalt like veins, dry, cold, silent. These are not places tourists seek, they are places you stumble on. A hole in the hillside, a breath of air rising from the grass, a sudden shift in wind that smells like minerals. Everywhere in this land, geology has been quiet, but never still. It breathes through rock, it remembers through water, it waits in stone. And in the east, where the mountains hold their ground against time itself, it reminds us, nothing that rises does so forever, not even peaks, not even myths. Back toward the west, the land exhales, the mountains soften. The valleys widen, and fire speaks again, not with rage, but with rhythm. In western Anatolia, near the town of Kula, the earth is marked by scars of flame. These are the fire mountains, Karaka and its silent sisters, extinct volcanoes, their cones still perfect, their craters still black. Here, time folds in strange ways. The lava fields are young, only a few thousand years old, but they feel older. Worn smooth by wind, brushed with ash, cracked by roots that know how to wait. People once feared this place, now they plant vines along the edges. Walk the ridges, trace the flows with their fingers. The fire is gone, but the memory burns on. Further inland, something more delicate rises from the dust, salt again, but not as a lake, this time as a cathedral. In the salt mines of central Anatolia, tunnels wind deep beneath the plains, walls shimmer with crystalline light. Floors crunch like snow, and chambers open into silence so complete it presses against your chest. Miners have worked here for centuries. Now some of the tunnels lie abandoned, reclaimed by time and stillness. But when light touches the salt, it glows rose pink like a heartbeat caught in stone. This isn't salt for taste. It's salt that remembers oceans long gone. And above it all, the land rolls on, as if nothing ever changed, but it has, and it does, every day. Mountains crumble into valleys, rivers shift their course, stone folds into dust, and sometimes if you listen closely, the earth tells you this isn't loss. It's just movement. The Turkish landscape is more than beautiful. It's alive and ancient and honest. It doesn't try to impress you. It simply shows you what time can do. From the fairy chimneys of Cappadocia to the frozen cascades of Pamukkale, from the eternal flames of Yanartash to the still waters of Lake Tuz. From sacred peaks to sunken temples, from fire to ash, salt to silence. This is not a country made of ruins. It is a country made of memory, still breathing, still becoming. Not everything that matters makes noise. Some places speak in silence, in the way cliffs lean toward rivers, or the way dust moves across the floor of a cave no one remembers. Turkey is not a landscape, it's a memory made visible. A country where stone carries the weight of stories, where wind shapes faith, where fire leaves behind more than ruin. You can feel it in the ground, beneath your shoes, beneath your breath, that slow, steady pulse of something older than us. It is in the salt plains where mirrors form without water. It is in the mountains where gods once watched the sun rise. It is in the springs where minerals rise like breath from the deep. And always, it is in the silence. That pause before a breeze, that hush at the edge of a canyon, that moment underground when all you hear is your own heart. These are not just geological wonders, they are thresholds. They remind us that the earth moves whether we notice or not. That beauty isn't loud. That power doesn't always erupt. And that time, real time, tectonic time, volcanic time, the time of dust and wind and erosion, will always continue, whether we mark it or not. You walk away from these places different, not because they changed you, but because they refused to. In a world that tries to rush forward, these landscapes stay. They wait. They endure. Fairy chimneys don't hurry. Salt lakes don't apologize. Underground cities don't explain. They just are. And maybe that's the point. Not everything needs to be loud to be unforgettable. Some things, the most lasting things, only ask you to slow down long enough to listen. So the earth can speak, so memory can echo, so time can leave its shape behind. This is Turkey, not a story told in words, but one carved in stone, written by fire, washed by water, and still unfolding, one breath, one crack, one shimmer at a time.